Pregame.com.
Sunday, Major League Baseball action. We've got the Chicago White Sox traveling to the LA Dodgers. Interleague action. VR, we're going to keep with the theme that we're doing with our weekend videos. Who would have thunk it? Two first-place teams here, the White Sox and the Dodgers. Dodgers, maybe, last year Arizona come out of left field, so to speak, to win the division. That division always up for grabs.
Yeah,
San Francisco, you always got to think of them as a favorite with that pitching staff.
Exactly.
But the Dodgers, a little bit of excitement. The
and
team finally got sold.
They were getting to the NL, championship versus the Phils.
So there you go. I mean, I can buy the Dodgers, but who saw White Sox? Because Detroit was supposed to run away and hide.
I didn't, and I'll be honest with you. I thought, and I have a soft spot for the White Sox in my heart.
Oh yeah, that future bet was.
I had on them back when they won in 2000, and forever. I love this team. I can't hate them. Put it that way. But I thought if anyone's going to sneak attack, and if Detroit crumbles, I thought it was going to be the Cleveland Indians for some reason.
Which they're playing well.
And I asked Brian before the season, him being from Cleveland, he's like, I don't see it, VR. So because they were like 50-1.
I can tell you, Cleveland, nothing's coming out of Cleveland. It's winning. Okay?
I didn't think so.
Brian, that shot was for you.
Yeah, I didn't bet a future. I didn't waste no money.
Here's a situation with the White Sox. They're getting, and plus, let's not forget. You had Ozzie, the manager there all those years, and he was a guy you either loved or hated.
Yeah.
And at the end, it seemed like more of hate because it was time for him to go. And so who would have expected the next guy to come in and get this team to play the way they're playing?
And I don't even know the players. I'll be honest with you. I see like Konerko and Brzezinski and Hudson. Those names have been around. But then you look at the rest of that lineup. And these guys are hitting. They're fifth in Major League Baseball in runs per game. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know who these guys are. I have to try to look at their stats and see, where did they come from?
Well, the pitching, they're getting some good pitching.
Sure,
and it starts with, first of all, Jake Peavy. He is
stud.
He had some arm problems, a year or so ago, but he is back.
Money, dude.
Full strength, and he's pitching great ball. Then you've got a guy like this, the guy that's pitching on Sunday, Quintana. He wasn't even in the starting rotation.
4 starts he's got.
They brought him up because of John Danks, being injured, and the guy has pitched amazing. 1.98 ERA. And one of my pet peeves in baseball, I love taking pitchers first time around the league because they have a built-in advantage.
Sure.
It doesn't matter if they've got average stuff. That average stuff looks so much better because nobody's seen them yet.
Yeah.
When they come up from the minor leagues, first time through, I like to follow these guys, take them. Then when they start facing teams for the second time, that's when you find out what they're made of.
Yeah, I agree.
Facing the Dodgers here, this is going to be a first-time situation. I like the way he's pitching. And the other thing about the White Sox, they're playing great baseball on the road. They're 18-10 on the road.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on?
I mean, once they start winning at home, this team has a chance to really extend their lead. What I like about them is this. I always bring this up every video. You guys are going to get sick of it, but I always look at that Pythagorean over-under because it tells you whether the team's record's legit based on runs scored, runs allowed, or maybe they're getting lucky. When we look at the White Sox, they're only +3, meaning they're right where they should be. You look at the Dodgers, they're the highest in Major League Baseball. It reflects they've won 8 more games than they truly should have. So here's a team that definitely seems like the value may be gone. And you're going to start seeing them come back to reality. And we said on the last video, even the best teams, they don't win at this kind of clip.
Right.
You can't, maintain that. I'll tell you about what I like about the White Sox, Marco, what you said. They could win on the road. Nobody has any confidence in this team. They play great defense. They're 5th in Major League Baseball in errors. So they're not going to make those mistakes that cost you games. And they're never out of it because they can score runs. If you get a pitcher that gives them 6 innings, and even if he gives up 2-3 runs, you're not out of it with this team, whether you're at home or on the road. So whenever I back the White Sox, even if I'm behind a little bit, it's not one of those games that I turn off. and say, I'm done,
Yeah.
you know?
They definitely are an explosive team. Going back, it just something popped into my head with you talking about that system and the teams overachieving and out with the rating system. At some point, you know, it's great to have that formula. You know, you can say this team's overachieving, this team's underachieving. But at some point, do you have to say part of it's the manager? That a manager is either, for a team that's underachieving, this manager's not doing a good job making the key decisions of when to pull a pitcher or when to, you know, pinch which guy he's pitch hitting.
Sure, because we see managers in baseball all the time that micromanage and do too much. Socha with the Angels, guy changed the lineup 52 times in 20 games. You know what I mean? You can't do that. That's micromanaging. That's negative for a ball club, and you have guys that just don't do enough. So I agree with you. And when you look at the White Sox, who have a new manager, you know, no one knew how the team's going to react when he took over.
Exactly.
So, I mean, this team's been a mystery, I think, to professional bettors. It's been a mystery to the public. And I still think they're going to offer value going forward, unlike the Dodgers, where I love what they're doing. Don't get me wrong. You know, here's a team that's pitching, is getting it done. Number 2 in ERA, number 4 in WHIP, great defense. But 21 in errors, that means, you know, they're going to make some mistakes. They're 16th in runs scored. They're not producing all that much. You know, I think as the arms get tired, this is a team that's not going to be winning 60-65% down the stretch.
You just gave me a great segue for me to get to my play talking about as the arms get tired, because the guy on the hill for the Dodgers has been pitching phenomenal. Campano here has been doing very well, 8-2 start to the season, but boy, I see a red flag with him, and I'm looking at his last 3 starts. He hasn't been able to go beyond the 5th inning for 3 straight starts. In those 3 starts, 15 and 3rd innings, 19 hits allowed, and this is the bad one, 9 walks. Yes, 9 walks in 15 and 3rd innings. You start putting guys on the pond like that.
Forget about it.
They're going to be coming home and scoring runs, and that they've had. He's given up 10 runs in his last 3 starts.
And it's because, I'm telling you, Marco, the Dodgers are second in Major League Baseball in quality starts. That means they're leaving these guys in there. You know what I mean? They need to use that bullpen a lot more is what I think. You got to, especially when you have this kind of lead. They got a 5-game lead, and it's not even at the halfway mark, you know?
And to put, you always talk about regression to the means. I think a lot of the stats, and one of the reasons the Dodgers are doing so well, is let's look at the teams that they play. They're in the National League West. You got the light-hitting San Diego Padres.
The no-hitting.
Okay, the light-hitting San Francisco Giants. So you know, you're going to get some nice stats when you're playing those teams all the time. Then whenever they interleague play, they were playing the National League West as well. So you got to go play Oakland, you got to play Seattle. When they start playing some of these better teams with some offense, like they're going to be playing with the White Sox here, I think you're going to be getting a line that's based on the whole body of work for the season.
Record,
Right. And I think there's tremendous value. And we're going to eat us some dog on Sunday. We're taking the White Sox here.
Brother, I can't disagree with you. And I like every point you made about Capuano, who looks like he has a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, but that's not been the case lately.
Right.
You know, so when you look at his overall body of work, he's going to be a bit overvalued. Look at the Dodgers, 40 and 24, 22 and 11 at home. They're going to be a bit overvalued, but they lost 2 of 3 to the LA Angels just last series. Then you got the White Sox. You got Quintana. No one knows much about him, only 4 starts. He's not going to get respect. No one believes in this White Sox, especially since they're 4-6 their last 10. And 8 of their games were at home. So here's a team that was losing at home, and now you got to go play the first-place Dodgers, and no one's really remembering, wait, this is a first-place team too?
Yeah.
I think the best thing for them is to go get out on the road, because I think they started getting feeling a little pressure, playing at home, looking at the standings. It's not like they have a commanding lead in the Central. So this may be the best-case scenario to get them out on the road, put them up against competition that you know they're going to be focused. Playing the LA Dodgers, you're going to show up. I got to agree with you there, Marco.
Well, I'm making it my video best bet of the week, and you know what happens when we have a video best bet. We've got
free money,
and I forgot to give our producer of the coupon. So we're going to see how fast he can get it up on the screen right now. We're going to put him to the test. It's going to be what? It's going to be White Sox 10. White Sox 10. Little off-camera joke with VR. Now, sometime, guys, we're going to do a video of the pre-video. If you ever saw one of those,
a movie of the pre-video,
it's very interesting. Let me just tell you that. But we're going to go with the White Sox. I like them. They're going to be an underdog on Sunday. We're making that our video best bet. Coupon White Sox 10, all one word, number 10, and you'll get $10 off. Just enter that in the checkout. When the coupon code at checkout, when you put all those packages in, put VR's pick in or my pick, anybody at pregame, and you know the drill. If it's only $10 VR,
drinks are on the house on pregame and RJ.
Doesn't happen often.
You're not going to see a $10 pay.
You don't see him reaching for the check too often, do you?
Only here.
All right, guys, that's it for this week at pregame.tv. We'll be back next week with the usual band of characters: VR, Scott Spreitzer, Brian Leonard, and yours truly, Marco D'Angelo. Till next week, best of luck this weekend.